Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to chat about English learning today. We're jumping into something that really promises to change how you think about speaking English.
Hmm.
It's not about just cramming more words or, drilling grammar rules.
Right.
This deep dive is all about how fluent speaking really starts. And, well, it starts inside your head.
That's exactly right. We've got these sources you shared, and we're going to unpack the core idea.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, your mindset, how you feel about it. That's just as powerful, maybe even more powerful, than vocabulary lists when it comes to speaking English confidently.
Yeah, it's so easy for learners to get focused on just the mechanics, isn't it? Like how fast you speak, perfect pronunciation, using fancy words.
Absolutely.
But what these sources are showing us is something more fundamental. Your internal state, how you're feeling inside, that really dictates your fluency.
It does. If you're battling nervousness, or you doubt yourself, or you're just terrified of making a mistake,
Hmm.
it creates this mental block. And grammar drills alone, they just
Yeah.
can't fix that.
We've all been there, I think. Knowing the words in your head, maybe you even practice the sentence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then boom, time to speak, mind goes blank, you freeze up.
Exactly. And the sources point out, in that moment, it wasn't that you didn't know the English.
Yeah.
It was something internal going on,
Yeah.
a struggle inside.
But here's the exciting part, the promise we see in these sources.
Yeah.
You can actually learn to make that shift.
You can.
And this deep dive, well, it's your guide to understanding how to build that inner strength. We'll look at self-belief, positive thinking, how to actually tackle fear, and even some simple mental exercises you can literally start using today.
Yeah, our mission here is really to give you the understanding and maybe some tools to train your mind for fluency, especially if you've ever felt, stuck or shy or just plain scared to speak, even when you technically know the English.
Okay then, settle in. Let's unpack this together. This deep dive begins now.
All right, let's kick things off with that foundational idea the sources keep hammering home. The huge role of your mindset before you even say a word in English.
Right. It's the step that so many learners just, well, skip over. They spend hours on textbooks, apps, grammar.
Sure, the usual stuff.
Yeah, and look, that stuff is necessary. They're the building blocks, but the case these sources make is pretty compelling. If your mind isn't ready, if it's full of doubt or fear, your mouth isn't going to cooperate fluently.
That brings us to a question these sources ask you, the listener, directly.
Mm.
Have you ever known exactly what you wanted to say? The words were right there, but you just didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you felt that knot in your stomach, heart racing, that little voice saying, don't mess this up. It happens to pretty much everyone.
Oh, absolutely. And that voice.
Yeah.
The one saying, you're not good enough or you'll sound silly. That's not English speaking.
No.
That's fear. And fear, as the sources really highlight, lives in the mind. It's a mental barrier, first and foremost. Exactly. And that's why working on your mindset is so incredibly powerful. It means consciously choosing beliefs like, okay, I can speak English, or it is absolutely okay to make mistakes. That's how I learn. And right now, I'm a learner and I am making progress.
Think about that simple example the sources give two students. Same task. One thinks, oh no, I can't do this. It's too hard.
Mm-hmm. The negative spiral.
Right. The other thinks, okay, deep breath. I'm still learning this. Might stumble a bit, but I'm going to try. Which one is actually going to speak more, learn more, become more fluent in the long run?
It's got to be the second student, obviously, because their mind is open, isn't it? It's not shutting down the possibility before they even start.
Exactly.
It's that old idea. If you think you can't, well, you probably won't. But if you think you can at least try, you open the door. And it's also about accepting where you are. You don't need to sound like a native tomorrow. Just express yourself. Connect.
And that confidence piece. It's not something you're just born with. It's built, brick by brick, every single time you decide to try, especially when it feels a bit scary.
Yeah.
Every little attempt, every word, every simple sentence, it adds up. It builds that belief inside.
So a really key takeaway here right from the get-go is this. Before you even try to speak English with your mouth, have a little chat with yourself in your mind. Be kind. Be encouraging. Tell yourself, I can do this. Because fundamentally, that positive internal landscape, that's where fluent speaking starts.
Okay, so building on that mindset idea, let's zoom in a bit on something really personal. That inner voice, our self-talk.
Ah, yes. The running commentary in our heads, always there, isn't it?
Always. And for English learners, this voice can be, well, incredibly powerful, sometimes helpful, sometimes really matters.
Yeah, it can be your biggest cheerleader. Go on, you got this.
Or it can be your harshest critic.
Mm-hmm.
And the sources say, unfortunately, for many learners, it is the critic. You sound awful. You're going to make a mistake again. Just be quiet. It's safer.
But the sources push back hard against that. They remind us, you are not defined by your mistakes. You're a learner. And what do learners need?
Support. Encouragement.
Exactly. Think about how you'd talk to a friend learning English. You wouldn't tear them down, would you?
No way.
You'd be like, wow, that's great. Keep going. You're doing so well.
So the question is, why are we often so harsh with ourselves? The sources say basically become your own cheerleader, your own supportive friend.
Yeah, and they offer a really simple exercise. Next time you feel that nervousness creeping in before you speak, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, okay, what am I actually saying to myself right now?
And if it's negative, if it's that critical voice,
Actively change it. Consciously replace it. Something like, I'm doing my best here, or I'm learning, I'm growing, or even just, it's okay to be imperfect.
sometimes actually saying those positive things out loud, maybe when you're alone, can really help. Hearing the words makes them feel more concrete, more real. It can actually calm you down.
I loved that story in one of the sources about the student who kept telling herself, I always forget words when I speak. And guess what? She did.
Predictable, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But when she consciously shifted that thought to something like, it's okay to pause, I'll find the word, she actually started forgetting words less often and spoke more smoothly.
It really shows the power, doesn't it?
Mm.
As the sources put it, what we repeat in our minds often shapes our reality. Your self-talk directly influences how you experience speaking English.
So the message is clear. Pay attention to that inner voice. Catch the negative stuff. And talk to yourself with kindness, like you would a friend. Use self-talk that lifts you up.
Absolutely, because your fluency journey,
Mm-hmm.
it starts with your thoughts. Think confidently, and you're taking the first step to speaking confidently.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about another really interesting mental tool, something used by athletes, performers, and the sources suggest really useful for English learners too, visualization.
Yes, visualization. Basically, it's picturing yourself doing something successfully before you actually do it. Athletes do this all the time, don't they?
Yeah, like a runner closing their eyes, imagining the race, feeling their legs pumping, seeing themselves cross the finish line first.
They're not just thinking about winning. They're trying to feel it, experience it in their mind.
And the insight here is that learners can do the exact same thing with speaking English. Before, say, a meeting or a phone call or even just ordering coffee,
Mm-hmm.
you can take a quiet moment, close your eyes, and imagine it going well.
Picture yourself speaking clearly. Imagine feeling relaxed, maybe smiling a little. Hear your voice sounding calm and natural.
See the words flowing smoothly. Imagine the other person understanding you, nodding, responding positively. Try to really feel that sense of confidence and ease in that imagined moment.
It's like your brain doesn't perfectly distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So this mental rehearsal, it makes the real thing feel less scary, less unknown.
Yeah, because you've kind of done it already in your head.
Exactly.
The sources even suggest a quick exercise we could try. If you're somewhere you can close your eyes for a moment, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, if it's safe, just gently close your eyes, take a slow breath in, and let it out. Now imagine you're somewhere relaxed, maybe that coffee shop again. Someone friendly comes up and asks you something simple in English, like, where are you from?
Feel yourself respond easily. Maybe you smile. Imagine your voice is calm, the words come out without effort. Picture the other person understanding perfectly. Just feel that smooth, easy exchange. Feel good about it. Feel capable.
Okay, take one more gentle breath, and when you're ready, open your eyes.
See? That didn't take long. But doing that regularly, it's like training your brain. The source would say the more you practice visualizing success, the more you prime yourself to actually experience it.
It gives your brain a positive map to follow, doesn't it?
It really does. Makes it feel more natural, more possible.
So next time you feel those nerves kick in before speaking, remember this tool. Take 30 seconds, close your eyes, visualize success. It might make a bigger difference than you think.
And speaking of making a difference,
Mm.
let's talk about confidence itself, because there's a common trap here that the sources point out.
Right, this idea that I'll feel confident after I speak perfectly. Like, confidence is the prize you get at the very end.
Exactly. But the sources argue, quite convincingly, I think, that it's often the other way around. You become more fluent, you improve faster, because you choose to act with confidence even when your English isn't perfect yet.
It's not about pretending you know everything. It's more about an inner stance, right? Like deciding, okay, I believe I can communicate. I believe I can learn, even if I stumble sometimes.
That's what the sources call the inner game of speaking. It's that layer of belief, feeling, courage that underpins the technical skills.
There's that great story in the sources about the guy with like pretty basic English vocabulary.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But people loved talking to him. Why? Because he just radiated confidence. He looked people in the eye, he smiled, his voice was clear. He wasn't afraid to pause or ask for clarification.
And people remembered his energy, his willingness to connect, way more than they noticed the grammar mistakes.
It's such a powerful point. Communication is so much more than just perfect grammar, isn't it? It's about that connection. And confidence, well, it draws people in.
So the practical advice here is don't wait to feel confident. Sometimes you need to act confident first. Take that step, speak up, and often the feeling will catch up.
They even suggest that little power move before you speak. Stand tall, take a deep breath, maybe a little smile, and just tell yourself silently, I got this.
It sounds simple, maybe even a bit silly, but changing your physical posture can actually shift your mindset. Confidence starts inside, yes, but your body can help.
So the key insight, confidence isn't something you find later. It's something you decide to bring to the table now. And the more you practice choosing it, the stronger it gets.
Okay, so if we're talking about the inner game, we definitely need to talk about emotions because they play a massive role in how fluently we speak, often without us even realizing it.
Oh, for sure. Think about when you get nervous. Your heart starts pounding, right? Or maybe you feel embarrassed and suddenly your mind just goes blank.
Exactly. And in that moment, it's usually not a sudden loss of English skills, it's your body's reaction to the emotion. The sources explain it kind of triggers a fight or flight or freeze response.
Right, survival mode.
Yeah, survival mode. And that diverts energy away from complex things like, speaking clearly and finding the right words.
Yeah.
Even really fluent speakers feel this under pressure.
But there's good news. The sources offer ways to handle this. One technique that sounds simple but is surprisingly effective is just naming the emotion.
Naming it.
Yeah. Like if you feel those butterflies, just quietly say to yourself, okay, I feel nervous right now, or I'm feeling a bit shy.
Ah, I see. So just acknowledging it, not fighting it?
Exactly. Apparently, just naming the emotion helps the thinking part of your brain come back online and gives you a bit more control. It calms the storm a little.
That makes sense. And another tool they mention, which we keep coming back to, is the breath. Just taking a few slow, deep breaths before you speak, or even during a pause, can physically calm your nervous system. That makes it easier for the words to actually flow.
And it's not all about negative emotions either, is it? Positive feelings like being genuinely curious about the other person or excited about the topic that can actually boost your fluency.
Absolutely. When you're focused on connecting, on sharing something interesting, you naturally worry less about getting every single word perfect.
Yeah.
You just talk.
So the advice is to become more aware of your emotions when you're speaking English. Notice them, accept them, don't judge them. Use simple tools like naming or breathing. And try to tap into those positive feelings that help communication flow.
Yeah, understanding and managing emotions. It's not just a life skill, it's really a language skill too. Being fully human, feelings and all, is part of being a great communicator.
Okay, let's shift to something the sources describe as a really big turning point for many learners, a kind of breakthrough moment.
Ah, yes. Thinking directly in English.
Right. Because the default, especially when you're starting out, is usually thinking in your native language first, right? You form the whole idea.
Get it perfect in your head.
And then you start the translation process into English, word by word, phrase by phrase.
And look, that works initially. But it's slow. It's effortful. It puts this extra layer, this translation step, between your thought and your speech. Even if you know the English words, that process just makes your brain work harder and slows you down.
So the goal, as the sources suggest, is to start developing the habit of thinking directly in English.
Which sounds really hard at first, doesn't it? Like, how do you just start thinking in another language?
Yeah, exactly. And the sources acknowledge that. They say you don't need to start by, composing complex arguments in your head in English.
No. Start small.
Yep.
Really small. Like, integrate tiny bits of English thinking into your everyday life.
Okay, give us an example.
Well, you see an apple. Instead of thinking the word in your language and then apple, just think apple. Or when you're doing routine things like brushing your teeth, just think the simple phrase, brushing my teeth.
Ah, okay. So just labeling things or narrating simple actions in your head.
Exactly. Making coffee, water is hot, putting on shoes. It's like a tiny, private English workout for your brain. No pressure, no audience.
You could even whisper it, right? Like, okay, need milk, or this music is good.
Absolutely. Talk to yourself silently or
Yeah.
quietly aloud. Feeling tired today? What's for dinner? Simple stuff.
And the benefit. Why do this?
The benefit, according to the sources, is huge. The more you do it, the more your brain gets comfortable operating in English.
Yeah.
It starts to feel more natural.
So when you actually go to speak to someone,
Your brain is already kind of in English mode. The words come faster, more automatically, because you're cutting out that translation middleman.
it builds that direct connection between thought and English words, like training your brain to treat English less like a foreign code and more like, well, just another language you think in.
Precisely. So the advice is clear. Start small, use daily situations, think in words and simple phrases, and just gradually weave English into your inner world.
Okay, this next one is a biggie. It holds so many people back. Perfectionism, that crippling fear of making mistakes.
Oh, yeah. It's a major fluency killer. That feeling that you have to speak perfectly every single time or else you failed or you should feel ashamed.
But the sources offer such a freeing perspective on this. They basically say mistakes are not failures. They are normal. They are necessary. They are proof you're actually learning.
Think about a toddler learning to walk. Do they get embarrassed and give up the first time they fall?
No way. They just get back up, maybe cry a bit, but they try again.
Exactly. Falling is part of learning to walk. And making mistakes is part of learning to speak a language. It means you're trying things out, you're pushing your boundaries, you're growing.
But perfectionism does the opposite, doesn't it? It makes you freeze. It makes you avoid speaking altogether because the fear of saying something wrong is just too intense.
Right. And here's the catch-22. The only way to actually get better at speaking is by speaking a lot, even when it's imperfect, especially when it's imperfect.
So the challenge, the invitation from these sources is pretty liberating. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Like, consciously decide it's okay.
Yeah. When you mess up a word or use the wrong tense, instead of beating yourself up, just mentally say, okay, noted, I'm learning.
And celebrate the small wins. Every sentence you manage to say, every conversation you attempt, every time you choose to speak instead of staying silent, that's progress. That deserves a little mental high five.
Fluency isn't built by magically avoiding all errors. It's built through being brave, being consistent, and being kind to yourself in the process.
So if you feel stuck in that perfectionist trap, the advice is take a breath, maybe smile, and remind yourself, I'm human, I'm learning, I'm improving.
It's a mindset shift that just opens the door to so much more confidence and freedom in speaking. Okay, almost there. To round things out, the sources also talk about the importance of mindfulness and being present when you're actually in a conversation.
Mindfulness,
Yeah.
like meditation, how does that apply to speaking English?
Oh, it's about being fully aware and engaged in the present moment. So when you're talking to someone in English, it means really paying attention, not just to what you're saying, but how you feel and, importantly, listening fully to the other person.
Ah, okay, because it's easy to get stuck in your head, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
replaying what you just said, worrying if it was right, or replanning your next sentence.
Exactly. And when you're doing all that internal gymnastics, you're not really present in the conversation. Mindfulness helps you catch those distracting thoughts and gently bring your focus back to the here and now, back to the person you're talking with.
Is there a simple way to practice that?
Yeah, a really practical tip from the sources is just before you speak, or even during a pause, take one slow, conscious breath. Maybe notice the feeling of your feet on the floor, or just the sensation of the air. It helps ground you in the present moment.
Calms the mental chatter a bit.
Precisely. And when you're truly present, your natural speaking ability has more space to come through. You listen better, you respond more appropriately, and honestly, you probably enjoy the conversation more too.
So it's about focusing outward on the connection rather than just inward on your own performance.
That's a great way to put it. Try being mindfully present next time you speak English. You might be surprised how much easier things feel when you're fully engaged in the moment.
Okay, one final piece ties a lot of this together. Building mental resilience, something every language learner absolutely needs.
Oh, definitely. Resilience is basically your bounce back ability, how you cope when things get tough.
And let's be honest, learning a language does get tough sometimes. You'll struggle for words, you'll feel misunderstood, you'll have moments of frustration or embarrassment.
It's inevitable. But resilience, as the sources explain, isn't about somehow avoiding those difficulties. It's about how you frame them and how you respond.
So instead of seeing a mistake or a struggle as proof that you're bad at English.
Yeah.
You reframe it as, okay, this is a challenge. What can I learn here? How can I use this to get better? It's seeing setbacks as opportunities for growth, not reasons to quit.
It probably also helps to remember why you're learning English in the first place, right? Keeping your goals in mind.
Absolutely. Connecting back to your motivation, your why, gives you fuel to keep going when things feel hard.
And recognizing that every single attempt, even the ones that feel like failures, is actually building something.
Yes. Every time you face a challenge and keep going, you're strengthening that resilience muscle. You're training your brain, improving your skills, building confidence, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment.
It's about cultivating that inner voice of perseverance again, like telling yourself, I am capable. This is hard, but I can handle it. I will keep practicing and I will improve. That kind of positive, determined self-talk builds real mental strength over time.
Yeah, with that kind of resilient mindset, the whole journey feels less like a struggle and more like, well, a journey, a path of growth.
Exactly.
Wow, we've really covered a lot of ground today, diving deep into this idea that fluency isn't just about the words you know, but about what's happening inside your head. Let's quickly recap the main takeaways.
Okay, so number one, mindset is everything. Believe you can speak English, choose confidence even before you feel perfect. That's the foundation.
Right. Second, make thinking in English a daily habit. Start small, simple words and phrases. Train your brain.
Third, let go of perfectionism. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. It's essential for progress.
Fourth, manage your emotions. Notice them, name them, breathe. Practice mindfulness and being present in conversations. Focus on connection.
And finally, build that mental resilience. Reframe challenges, remember your why, and keep that positive, persistent inner voice going.
This really is a powerful framework, isn't it? It shifts the focus from just accumulating knowledge to actively cultivating the inner state needed for success. We really hope these ideas inspire you to keep going, keep practicing, and keep growing with confidence.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive today.
And we want to leave you with that core encouragement from the sources. Keep practicing, stay positive, and please be patient and kind with yourself along the way. Remember, speaking English confidently really does start in your mind.
And maybe a final thought for you to chew on. If your fluency starts in your mind, what's just one small thought, one little mental shift you could make today to help your English grow?
Keep speaking, keep shining,